Greetings and welcome back to TCG Casuals, the channel where we casually talk about TCGs. Today we are taking a look at finally all 5 of the Endless Waltz Gundams because they were finally revealed. We got a little tease of what they can, well, ahead of schedule from X/Twitter thanks to the Gundam card game Link Station duo that they showed off, where they finally showed us the Sandrock and the Heavy Arms that we'll probably get tomorrow. But anyway, we can take a look at them here, compare them to their old selves, and finally compare how all 5+1 Gundams stack up to their better or classic counterparts. So let's start with the reveals that we just saw today, which is first the Gundam Heavy Arms. Now we finally know what this thing does. It is a level 3, cost 2, it is a 3/3, so pretty decent. And its ability is as you activate it during your main, once per turn, if you control another unit with the G-Team or Preventer trait, choose one of your opponent's units that has level 4 or lower, and during this turn it gets AP -1. Not particularly stand out, although in the early turns it can make a difference. I do believe there's going to be a running theme here with the Preventer cards where they're trying to reduce the power of the enemy units. Kind of makes thematic sense, but I don't really like this custom Heavy Arms. I don't think there's a single heavy, or no wait, there is one Heavy Arms that I do like, and I believe it is from box number, yep, it is from set number 2. It is the uncommon version where deployed you get to scry the top card of your deck, which is pretty good, and it can be linked with any Operation Meteor trait pilot, and it's a 3/4, so pretty decent. It's one turn slower, but it does come with what I think is a more universally useful effect because you don't need to have another card. Now, we still don't have Troa Barton from Endless Waltz card revealed yet, so that's going to be a little iffy. So we're moving on to the brand new recently revealed Gundam Sandrock. As you can see here, it is a level 1, cost 3, it is a 3/4, so nicely in line with Catra, who's more defensive, but when it attacks, if you control another G-Team or a Preventer unit, you can select one of your opponent's units. Let's see if I get this correctly. Yep, whatever unit in general, and it gets AP -2. And it doesn't need to be linked to get its effect, so this is definitely good rare. You attack, and then you can ensure that whatever you're attacking can survive, or you can make one of your opponent's main blockers a lot weaker. And it pairs pretty well with the Catra that we already know. That says, when paired, choose one enemy unit that is level 5 or lower and rested, so it can attack that. And then it gives it AP -2 and takes it out. And this is a very offensive Catra, which is a +2/+1, which turns this Sandrock into a 5/5 on turn 4 for completely 4 resources, so pretty good. Difficult to take down during those turns. So how does it compare to the old ones? Well, it's actually pretty good. We do have this one particularly here that was designed to function with the Magnet Corps, where they need to choose one of your Magnet Corps rested units to attack when attacking if possible. It is a level 6 and costs 5, and it's from the Chibi set, which I don't particularly like, but it's interesting. And then we've got the original one from the starter deck here, which was only a 4/3, 4/2. Not that interesting. And then we have the rare version from the booster set, which said you could deploy one Magnet Core from your hand. Unfortunately, really not that useful. So it appears that this new Sandrock that we have is probably the best one we're going to get for a while, and it's definitely useful, considering that it is simply when this unit attacks, it doesn't need to be linked or paired. It automatically triggers its effect. Definitely a good effect to be on the offensive, especially how Gundam Wing used to fight. I don't know if they want to change it, but that's just how it goes. Now we can go back to the cards that we already know who they existed. So let's go on to Duo's Death Scythe here. It is a level 5, cost 4. It is a 5/2, unfortunately, which I don't really like. That is extremely weak, but it does seem to be the first unit in the game that has haste or rush, as you would call it in other games. Basically, it can attack one designated unit the turn it is played. So it's essentially a glass cannon. Let's see, I don't think we haven't been revealed the Endless Waltz Duo card, so that's something, but the original Duo is a +1/+2, and it says during link, which here it says, of course it's linked, his AP can't be reduced by enemy effects. So with Duo piloting it, it becomes a 6/4, which is a lot better. Let's see, the original Duo is level 4, Death Scythe is level 5, so it's a little slower on the deployment, but considering it can attack the turn it is put into play, with or without duo, definitely a solid card. Not sure how many I would run because it is level 5. You do want to run some other things over. But how does it compare to its original versions? Let's go with the original OG here, the turn 6 cost 4/1 from the original booster, the LR. It is a 5/4, and that's actually pretty good stats. Combined with duo, it is a 6/6. So definitely decent stats, but the important part is that when it is paired with any Operation Meteor pilot, you get to place one rested resource, so you play this, and then on the next turn you are now skipping level 7 and going all the way to level 8. And then he also gets first strike during this turn, so assuming you put him with duo, he is going to be hitting pretty hard and for not getting hit back, so pretty good. There is another version here from the third booster, an R version. It is a level 8 cost 7 with the 6/5. It says when you deploy, you choose one of your Operation Meteor or G team units, and during this turn, it may choose an active enemy unit as its attack target. I don't know how useful that would be. It is wielding its double scythe, but considering level 8 is usually where the Wing Gundam and the Wing Zero are usually hanging around, not sure you would want to run this, although it is it actually has no requirements. It's just on deploy. It is cost 7, which is a little expensive, but being able to attack your opponent's ready units is definitely a good thing. Then, who's left? Oh yes, Wu Fei's Altron Gundam from Endless Waltz. I don't really like this one. Deploy, choose one rested enemy unit. It won't be set as active during the start phase of your opponent's next turn. It is a turn 7, cost 5, 5/5, so yeah, I don't really like it. What kind of bonus would Wu Fei be able to give it? Because we still don't have the Endless Waltz Wu Fei card, so not really nice. So Wu Fei is a +2/+1. That would turn this into a 7/6 on turn 7. For 6, not that useful. And then Wu Fei says, during your turn, while this unit has breach, it can receive battle damage from enemy units with cost 3 less of AP. I don't really like this Altron Gundam. I think it's pretty wasted. While the effect can be very powerful in the later stages, especially against the Strike Freedom Gundam that likes to be a blocker and be annoying, cost 7 is pretty high on the list. If we compare it to its older versions, let's see, we've got the original rare version here that has Brick 4, and when it attacks, it automatically destroys a level 3 or lower blocker. That is very strong. Then we've got its Booster Set 3 LR version with Breach 5, and when it attacks, it just deals 5 damage to one random blocker. Also extremely strong. If you're going to run an Altron Gundam, I would definitely run the original Altron. But if you're making a Wu Fei deck, then playing both might be good, although we currently do not have a Wu Fei Endless Waltz card, so I'm not sure how useful that would be. Lastly, we finally have Wing Gundam Zero Endless Waltz version, a level 6 cost 5, which is in 2 turns faster than the original Wing Zero. But basically it says here, when there is a rested enemy unit in play, it gains suppression, which means it deals 2 damage to 2 shield cards simultaneously. So basically it deals 2 damage to 2 shield cards, and then when it attacks, you choose one enemy unit and rest it. Now this does not mean you can attack rested unit and attack it. When you declare an attack, you need to designate the target before any effects activate, so you're not going to be able to use this to basically snipe out an enemy unit. So it is a level 6 cost 5, and it is a 5/4. If you combine it with the new Endless Waltz Hero U, it becomes a 7/6, which is pretty good. And Hero is a level 4 cost 1, and when this unit destroys an enemy shield area card with damage, choose one enemy unit, it gets AP -2 during this turn. Now this includes both shield and bases, both are placed in the shield area. So whenever he destroys a card in that area, you can designate an enemy to get -2 AP and then attack it with something else, maybe with the Death Scythe Hell that you played this turn or something similar. But the real reason we're running this hero here is because it's another Hero Yui. We can run it together with the original, which gave +2/+1, and then when it was linked, it get another +1/+1 for a total of +3/+2, making this thing a 8/6, which is pretty strong, especially on turn 6. 6 is not unbeatable, but it does make your opponent have to deal with it quickly, especially since with its effect, because it can rest enemy units and then lead the charge. It doesn't have what it was called, high maneuver, so it can be blocked, but it is going to be a little scary to deal with. How does it compare with the original Wing Zero? Well, the original was less of a mobile suit and more of an extremely cost action card, where it does have high maneuver, but the important part was that it dealt 3 damage to all units that are level 5 or lower. So it was more of a board clear than anything else. Let's see here, Wing Gundam, let's see, if we compare to the Wing Gundam, which is technically the same thing, they're both piloted by Hero. The Wing Gundam has Breach 5, and it can choose a level 4 or lower active enemy unit as its attack target, so it's still very, very useful at getting rid of annoying blockers. So if we're making a heater deck, which is kind of what I'm doing, I'm definitely going to be running basically all 3 of those Wing Gundams. Wings Gundam 0, Wing Gundam, and Wing Gundam 0 Endless Waltz version. That's going to be a little fun, along with Bird Mode. So yeah, this is going to be a little fun of a deck I'm working on here. Now, lastly, we do have a +1 here, because now we have Preventers, and Preventers have an additional member called Zex Marquis. He should technically be called Miliardo Peacecraft, but I guess he chose Zex Marquis since Miliardo is supposed to have died during the final battle of the series, and if he was still alive, it would cause a political trouble, so we went with the Zex Marquis. Now, he is in action and a pilot, so level 5, cost 1, very nice. Action, choose one enemy unit that is battling one of your units that is level 5 or higher. It gets AP -3. So that is significant because just like in the OVAs or the movie, depending on where you watched it, he comes in near the end and starts buying time for Hero to arrive and basically save the day. So I definitely like him. He is a +1/+2. The original one is +2/+1, and during your turn, when this unit destroys an enemy unit in battle, draw 1. I am working on basically making a Zex Marquis / Tres Cushionada / Mariemaia deck. It's kind of in the works, but it's okay. Now, let's look at his new Gundam, the Tallgeese 3. Level 5, cost 3, 4/4, okay, decent stats, although 1 lower than I would like for a cost 5 unit, well, a level 5 unit. Once per turn, during your turn, when this unit destroys an enemy unit with battle damage, choose one of your rested Preventer or G-Team Link units. It specifies Link units. Set it as active and it can't attack during this turn. I don't know about this one, honestly, because as we just saw, there are no G-Team or Preventer units in the game that have any effects that activate with rested. None of them are blockers, not that I'm aware of. If we look up the Taurus, yeah, neither of them are blockers or have anything, not even the new one for Noin that says when destroyed, draw 1 and discard 1, and the original one was just a 3/3 that couldn't attack enemy players. So this really is just there to, well, save itself or save another one of your Link units from being counterattacked during the opponent's turn. So I'm not entirely convinced by it. I would have preferred to have Trace's Tallgeese 2, the blue one. That would have been a lot better. But I know they chose this one because it is Zex's final mobile suit. So yeah, it's okay. It is only a rare. I'm not sure what I would expect from that, but all of the Gundams put together really are very expensive at the turn, so we still don't really have anything to play them on the lower turns with, other than the Noin's Taurus, which is also white. It's a 2/2 for 3/1. A little fragile, but when destroyed, you draw and discard 1, so that's pretty useful. And other than that, we are basically relying on all of his mobile suits. Now, there is one mobile suit still missing from this entire thing, and that is the Mariemaia Army Serpent mobile suit, but we'll look at that at another video. But what do you think about all the Gundam cards at the moment? Honestly, I think they're okay. Because they're not even on the cover of the booster box or on the cover of the booster pack, and only heroes is LR. The rest are just rare or uncommons, which is a little eh. This is really not a wing deck. Well, basically a Gundam Wing primary expansion, unfortunately. So the good news is the fact that only Wing 0 is LR means it's going to be very cheap to get the rest of them and all of them. And not even the Tallgeese 3 is uncommon, it's just rare. So being able to get all the Endless Waltz is going to be pretty good. Not sure if we're going to get the Serpent and anything else from Mariemaia's army, but so far it looks like it's going to be a very affordable expansion to expand the Gundam deck. Well, the Gundam Wing deck, though I don't know how many of the new cards are going to be played outside of the new Wing Gundam 0 Endless Waltz version, considering all the other Gundams have better versions back in the green era. But yeah, That is a look at all the Gundam Wing cards so far, or at least all the Gundams. We'll take a look at the Mariemaia army cards when they're finally revealed, because right now we only have Mariemaia herself as an event, and one card showing her, and that's really it. Oh yeah, and we also have Wu Fei's Ultron Gundam, which is also a part of the Mariemaia army, but who knows what will be revealed. But anyway, later.